Well, the wait is finally over. MSI 2018 is here. Group stage is underway, or already started, wrapped up for the day now. At this point, my name's Eric, here on League Unlock, and whether you're watching, you're at school, you're at work, you're on the couch, you're at a bar, it doesn't matter. It's time to go through some MSI 2018 action, starting off with the debut game of day one, RNG taking on Fnatic in a rematch of the 2017 Worlds quarterfinals, which was a pretty close match. The most hyped AD carries in the entire scene right now, Reckless and Uzi matching up in this one. Some interesting picks in the champion select. Most notably, you had Caps with the Yasuo pick. I love seeing some Yasuo in the competitive scene. And Kaisa for Reckless. That's an auto win, right, whenever anyone gets that champion. 11 minutes, no kills, but Uzi still had a convincing win in the laning phase. First turret blood, and he's up 20 CS on Reckless. In the mid lane, Fnatic responds. Caps lands the ultimate. They lock up first blood on Xiaohu, but still a bit of a gold lead for RNG. 18 minutes, more Yasuo action. Another ulti, and Caps follows eventually with the flash Q onto Xiaohu. That was clean. Caps looking really solid in his start to MSI 2018. 22 minutes, he gets caught out, but he ease over, he blast cones, he blocks one axe, he dodges another, and he still goes down. Very good effort though, some amazing mechanics there for Caps, but he did get caught out, so a bit of a mental blunder there. 31 minutes, Caps catches out MLXG, follows him over with the flash. The Yasuo pick's looking good. Let Me has to flash, but Caps, he's walking back. He wants to break the blast cone to prevent the Baron steal, but Uzi's waiting in the brush. His wind wall's on cooldown. He gets 4-shot. Goodbye, Caps, and that's not what Fnatic wanted to see. They get an advantage, and then it goes away just like that. That leads to a Baron for RNG. 34 minutes. Reckless finally gets involved. It's 34 minutes. He has 0 kill contributions. He gets the kill on MLXG, and eventually Fnatic takes down the massive Cho'Gath. That would eventually lead to an inhib in the mid lane for the boys out of EU. And what do they decide to do with it? Well, of course, they do the Fnatic Death Brush special and lay in hiding, hoping for someone to face check. But the problem is Uzi is no fool. He checks with the living artillery. They all get spotted out, and RNG wants to fight. Fnatic are forced to fight. They eventually go all in on Uzi, but Ming picks him up, throws him in his mouth, pops him on the other side, and Uzi still able to do damage over the wall. They clean up that fight. 3 kills for RNG, and they're able to close it out after that. Why do you go for the Death Brush, Fnatic? Why the Death Brush? The revenge from 2017 Worlds is not meant to be MLXG. Uzi and the gang come away with a win over Fnatic, and you know, it looked like it was in Fnatic's favor. They had that, they got down an inhib, they looked like they were potentially rolling, but then they do the Death Brush. It doesn't work out. Uzi gets a 5-man living artillery. They fully commit to try and get him, and the Tom Kench is there to save him. Great play. And Uzi, by the way, over 13 CS a minute in that game. Reckless by no means had bad CS, but he was still down 50, 70 CS at times because Uzi was playing out of his mind. And Reckless, an uncharacteristic game for him, was playing super passive. Even Forgiven called him out on Twitter. That's not surprising. He's always chirping Reckless. But saying he was too passive, he basically conceded the entire early game. And they did lose in that laning phase despite having Kaisa. So 0-1 for Fnatic, 1-0 for RNG. Second game of the day, Flash Wolves taking on EVOS Esports, the two teams that got here through play-ins. And it's EVOS, so you know you're going to be in store for a bloody game because the VCMS has the highest average kills of all regions. And this one was no exception. There was a lot of action, a lot of kills going on in this one. You got a Talia in the mid lane, and Eugen's Graves was banned against him. He's on the Kazakhs in this one, and early on, Mugen finds Eugen. Easy kill. What? You're so low in the jungle. That's just a risky game to be doing there. And then he just meanders down the jungle, down bottom, tosses on the Predator. Sword Art flashes in for the binding. Maple eventually joins the party. Ron OP and Slay both go down. 3 kills. that's a pretty good start for Flash Wolves. 12 minutes, they're already up 5,500 gold. Yijin hops in, gets completely bopped. That is a squishy bug. 22 minutes, 11,000 gold lead. This is getting ugly. Betty, of all people, secures the Baron, but EVS wants to fight. Slay flashes into the pit to get the kill on Betty, but that would be the end of his life. 2 kills and the Baron for the Wolves. This one got ugly and scary real quick. 22-2 in kills eventually for Flash Wolves. 17k gold lead, and we're still sub 30 minutes. 27 minutes in this one. So yeah, the VCS, they do average the most kills per game, and that kind of held true. 22 kills for Flash Wolves. This is the team that was going to get even, Mark and I kind of thought Gambit might put up a fight against them, but right now they look really solid. Obviously, EVS is most people's weakest team coming into this event, so not going to overreact too much onto this one, but Flash Wolves start off MSI 2018 with a win. And remember, Flash Wolves are the only returning team from last year's MSI. Yeah, they got a lot of different players with Karsa and MMD out of the lineup, but they are the only remaining squad from last year. 1-0 Flash Wolves, 0-1 for EVOS. Third game of the match, NA versus the LCK. Liquid and Kingzone. It's a tough game to start your tournament run against the perennial team favorites and the best team in the world, but, some NA, CLG beat SKT at MSI 2016. How can NA do against Korea in this one? Interesting picks in the bottom lane. Soraka for Gorilla and an Ezreal for Prey with teleport. He didn't change that. He had teleport in this game. 8 minutes in, Liquid decides we're going to send 4 people bottom to destroy this unicorn, and it actually pays off. Polebelter grabs first blood, and 13 minutes now. BDD goes for the KO on POB, but he flashes to safety. Kingzone up 1,000 gold at this point, despite being down 2 kills. And Polebelter, be careful where you recall. Prey brings him down with the true shot barrage. You can't recall those turrets. You got to go to an unorthodox spot. 27 minutes. This is such a bad sequence for Liquid. First, Ole recalls on a ward, and he gets tagged and taken down by Prey. 20 seconds later, Polebelter gets caught out. He can't ult away thanks to the silence by Soraka. He goes down. Then we head towards the mid lane. He eventually goes down. He's still a tanky rise. They leave the kill for Prey, and then Xmithy gets slowed by Prey and eventually gets knocked up by the Rupture from Khan. He goes down as well. 3 kills Liquid gives up for basically nothing, just getting caught out for no reason. That leads to a Baron for Kingzone, and that's going to be easy for them to snowball. 30 minutes though, positive play for NA. BDD gets caught out and devoured by Ole, eventually spits him out for the double lift kill, and then in a 4v5 now, Impact goes for a TP flank, and he doesn't really get much, doesn't land a whole lot, not much follow-up. Kingzone disengages, and then they re-engage, still 4v5 by the way, and Prey is just putting out insane amounts of damage on this Ezreal. The old double tier Ezreal special. BDD TP's in, and he'll clean up the kill on double lift. Everyone's flashing over into the Liquid base. That would be all they would need to do to close this one out. Double lift. 3-1 on the Jhin. 3 TPs for Kingzone. And, it's interesting seeing the Ezreal with the teleport. Something only Prey could do. You don't need an offensive or defensive summoner spell. Just throw out the teleport. And Gorilla on the Soraka. Soraka, you're maxing the E for the lane oppression and just to be super aggressive in lane or getting a couple of points in it early. And it worked out well for the guys. Khan was on tank duty. He didn't really have to do much, but Liquid, that one sequence where 3 guys just died for no reason, that was the main reason they lost that game. They actually had some positive, some proactive plays against Kingzone, so not the end of the world for Liquid after their first match of MSI 2018. We're back on League Unlock for day 1 of the MSI extravaganza in the group stage for the main event. My name's Eric. We already went through 3 games, but we still got 3 to go. Fnatic lost to RNG in the opener, so they're still looking for their first win, taking on Flash Wolves, who are 1-0 after completely demolishing EVOS Esports in their opening match. And Reckless was a little underwhelming in his first matchup against Uzi. Can he bounce back against Betty and the crew of Flash Wolves. We got another Soraka. This might be a recurring theme at this year's MSI event. And Caps on the Zoe. First Yasuo, now Zoe. 24 minutes. Oh, excuse me. Fnatic and Hylissang went aggressive here early on, and then they got TP'd on by Hanabi, and they get first blood locking up there. And it went pretty badly there for Fnatic, even though they went aggressive. 24 minutes, Maple goes for the flank, but Vladimir doesn't find anything. He has to flash defensively. Bwipo pops the stopwatch. That's not enough. He's going to go down. Fnatic takes down Hanabi on the other side, and the chase is on for Sword Art. Sword Art super low from healing everyone the entire fight, and Caps with the fancy flash over on the Zoe, locks the kill to kill the Unicorn. 28 minutes, Maple gets to the backline this time and pops Reckless. Hylissang drops down 2, and then that's on to the Baron for the Flash Wolves. Fnatic tries to contest 3v5. Bwipo, you're all alone on that side, man. He goes down. No real way to contest for the EU LCS squad. That Baron is going to drop to Flash Wolves. Bwipo starting both games on day 1, by the way, for Fnatic over Soaz. Still not sure what's going on with that. That's a little weird. 30 minutes now. Betty gets chunked, and Caps narrowly gets through the uprights to snipe him, gets him down, but they don't get anything more than that. Back at the mid lane, Maple finds Caps in the back line, obliterates him. Bwipo gets blown up as well, and the rest of Fnatic are left to run. Flash Wolves eventually chase down Hylissang as well. That's 3 kills for them. Things going in their favor. Not looking good for the EU team. Now in Fnatic's base, Betty shows off the new Varus Q on Reckless, takes him down. He'll get Bwipo as well. The lads from the LMS close this one out in pretty convincing fashion. Fnatic is 0-2. Not the start you're wanting to MSI, and that's back-to-back performances from Reckless that, you know, you're not expecting to see. You expect him to dominate in these team fights. Now when you have the Jhin, that's obviously going to be a bit of an issue. The main thing to chirp here or call out for Fnatic in this matchup was they had no healing reduction. No Morellos, no Executioners when you're playing against Soraka and Vladimir. And a Trundle, you got to get Executioner's Calling or Morellos on that Swain. Bwipo was up over 100 CS. He Flame Horizoned Hanabi in that top lane. Clearly the resources were being funneled into Maple in that one, and Maple delivered. So Fnatic 0-2, not the start EU was hoping for in this one. Next match, can North America get a win? Can they go 1-1? Can they avoid the 0-2? They're taking on EVS out of Vietnam, who again got absolutely clapped by Flash Wolves in their opening match. And Liquid had some big mistakes against Kingzone, but overall, it wasn't that bad. In this one, it's a pretty similar comp for Liquid. They got the Jhin for Double Lift again, and the Rise for Pole Belter, and we'll see if it works out. You got the Ezreal again on Slay. Stark grabs first blood in this one against Impact on the Ornn versus Gangplank matchup. Yikes, 12 minutes now. It's a 4-man dive bot that results in some kills for Stark. Again, he's had a pretty solid start on the Ornn. Pole Belter TP's in to finish up the easy kill on Ron OP. By the way, get ready. This one was a fiesta in here. This trade ends up being a 2-for-2 as Xmithie eventually is going to show up here and land a nice pillar for them to finish up and clean up Stark there. But this game was all over the place. 24 minutes now. Ron OP gets a good Alistar engage. Slay is on the outside flanking them on Ezreal by himself. Yijin catches out Double Lift here. No flash. It's not up. He just gets completely destroyed. Doesn't have a chance to do anything. And that's going to be some kills. 3-0. That leads to a Baron for the boys from Vietnam. 26 minutes now. There was a true fiesta in the bottom lane. It takes them a while to get this Baron, but 12-5, by the way, in kills here. We talked about them being bloodthirsty in Vietnam. That's exactly what they were. 26 minutes. Impact goes in with the Gangplank, comes in low health, but he ends up getting a double kill before he goes down. And then I don't even know what to say about the rest of this fight. Again, it's Slay on the outside on his own, just firing mystic shots. Pole Belter's going to TP, or not TP, excuse me, Realm Warp in. And this fight is just all over the place. This does not look like championship quality League of Legends. This is a solo queue fiesta. Slay eventually Arcane shifts in. He's going to get taken down by Doublelift. And then Stark is left to 1v3 and actually puts up a pretty good fight here. He's going to force the flash out of Doublelift. I actually don't know if he really needed to flash that, but he doesn't. Or he does, and that happens. 32 minutes now. It's a bounce house for EVS. Pobelter and Xmithy get blown up. They follow up by taking down Ole as well. And these team fights are just going heavily in the favor of Evos. 37 minutes, and they did not quit in any of these fights. This is a ruthless chase down. Warzone goes aggressive with the flash ult, but Pobelter gets saved by Ole. Doublelift dodges the True Shot barrage, and again, another team fight. Does not go well. This chase down that EVS has with the Cassiopeia and the Ezreal, there's no escape. Impact and Doublelift are the lone survivors who eventually have to try and defend. Impact goes down, so it's 1v4 for Doublelift. He gets the Ornn, Call of the Forge Guard down, and look at this. The Western teams are 0-4. It's a flashback to 2017 MSI. Vietnam takes down North America on the opening day of MSI 2018. 0-4, Fnatic and Liquid. Not a fan of the Jhin again, especially because he was doing no damage in game one for Doublelift. And again, he had like full items. He had 100% crit Jhin, and he still was not even close to able to take down some of these tanks on Evo. So not an ideal start for Liquid, but I was a little worried that they'd lose that game to Kingzone and then play a match playstyle they're not used to with Evos that's heavily skirmish focused, and they drop to 0-2. Ole did not play very well on that Tahm Kench. He got caught out a lot. Final game of the day was the most hyped, most anticipated. Clearly the number 1 and 2 teams coming into this. Kingzone taking on RNG. Plenty of storylines here. Uzi versus Prey, Xiaohu versus BDD, and it was an interesting one, but maybe not for what you would think it would be. Uzi on the Ashe. Prey busts out the Ezreal yet again in this one, and again, he's got the TP. 6 minutes in. Gorilla also has TB. Lots of Summoner spellbooks in here. Khan, and let me get into the 1v1, and Gorilla shows up. That's a level 5 Tahm Kench who helps secure first blood for that one. And after that, Khan was getting out of control. He 1v1s Let Me here. And then also, at the same time, you got a 4-man dive going on in the bottom lane for Peanut with the Graves, and BDD eventually going to show up as well with the Tahm Kench ulti. By the way, we didn't show it here, but Peanut was super aggressive in the early game on the Graves, stealing buffs from MLXG, and just had such a huge CS and level advantage. 20 minutes, Peanut and Prey synchronize the ults on MLXG. He gets completely blown up. This one ends up being 3 kills for Kingzone. That leads to a Baron for them, 7-1 in Germany. Not going super well there. And then 33 minutes, RNG says, our best bet here is to throw the entire team at Khan. 1v5 this guy. He still puts up a pretty good fight, by the way. He has a Guardian Angel. And obviously, King's on the other side of the map gets a Baron. They get an inhib in the top lane. And that's really the only positive that RNG could get out of that situation. Uzi tries to save a fight later on in the base, but Prey has a nice Arcane Flash into Flash to pick him off. Kingzone absolutely demolishes RNG. The gap is widening, ladies and gentlemen. It's not getting narrower. Everyone else should be very scared of this tournament because Kingzone looks like they're playing about as well as everyone expected them to play coming into this event. This is supposed to be the number 1-2 teams, and yeah, Kingzone clearly outclassed them. They played a pretty complicated team comp with pretty much no tanks, but they played the split push perfectly, which is something they have done all year. Khan looked fantastic. And coming up after the break, we're giving you our day 1 standout performers, and we're previewing a day 2. What's up, friends, and welcome back to League Unlocked. My name's Eric. Looking back at day 1 of the MSI group stage, which, you know, some things went as expected, others not so much. 2-0 teams, you got Flash Wolves and Kingzone, and of course, the boys from the Western scene, Fnatic and Liquid. God rest their souls. 0-4 on day 1. It's kind of a theme at MSI, is the Western teams not doing well on day one, and definitely underperformance from what people were expecting from these Western squads heading in to MSI. But it's only one day. This group stage lasts 5 days, and the fact that they're both 0-2 means, it means it helps their chances to maybe get to playoffs. Plenty more games tomorrow. Let's check out what is on tap for tomorrow. Day 2 action from the MSI group stage. And there's plenty of interesting matchups, as you've already seen. Obviously starts off Kingzone and Fnatic. Are they going to... That would be a good rebound for Fnatic, but there's not really a chance for them to have that. The good news is the West is guaranteed a win tomorrow, the last game of the day. Fnatic and Kingzone matchup, and that's how you're going to be guaranteed to get a win. Maybe they're 1-3, maybe they each have wins before them. Hard to say, but they definitely both underperformed in the opening day. Reckless, I'm going to say Caps, I was impressed with. He had some fantastic moments. He had some moments where he got caught out and you were kind of like, that was a Dumbo move. But overall, he was clearly at the same level as any of the other mid laners he played against. Reckless was well below the standard that he had set for himself during the 2018 spring split where he got MVP. He was playing below the standards. I expect him to be better in day 2. I think both guys get a win on day 2. And rebound. Kingzone looks absolutely unstoppable, and I would be terrified to play against them. But let's recap back at day 1 some of the top performing guys that we saw, because there was a few of them, and spoilers, they're pretty much all from Kingzone. 4 out of the 5 are from Kingzone. Khan didn't have to do much in game 1 for them. Game 2, he was popping off against Let Me, that's who he was playing. He was 1v1 him on the Camille. He looked nasty. Peanut was absolutely insane in game 2. We didn't show fully the highlights of just how masterful his early game was against MLXG, but he dominated him in that jungle matchup. He was scary on the Graves. Maple, the lone non-Kingzone member on here, he was fantastic for the Flash Wolves. First game, he had double-digit kills on the Taliyah against EVS. He had no deaths in any of these matchups. And then when they played Fnatic, he was their main win condition. A lot of the resources being funneled into his pocket. And anytime they won a team fight, it was him picking off Caps or Reckless. And then the bot lane for Kingzone, I don't know what you can say about those guys. It's Prey and Gorilla. Prey played 2 Ezreal games. He was putting out insane amounts of damage. The double tier build, I think that's just one strategy that he's going to continue using until teams ban it against him, but we know this guy is more than capable of playing other stuff. But he's probably the best Ezreal in the world, and he showcased that today. And Gorilla, with his TP plays on that Tahm Kench, getting first blood for Khan, also played the Soraka. He basically left Prey 1v2 in a lot of those moments against RNG, and Prey was only down at most like 15, maybe 20 CS when he was 1v2ing for most of the game under turret with no defensive spell because he had teleport. So the Kingzone bot lane looks pretty terrifying, and going forward, I would be pooping my pants if I have to go against Kingzone if you're any of these other teams, because they look dominant, even more dominant so far than maybe we were expecting coming into this event. We always seem to think that the gap is closing between Korea and the rest of the regions. But day 1 doesn't look like that. I know I picked Kingzone to finish second in the group. We'll see. I did say that RNG would only lose 1 game, and it would be to Kingzone, so they just have to win 8 straight games. That's all they have to do for those predictions to come true. Easy peasy, right? That's all the time we have for today. Thank you guys very much for watching, and enjoy MSI this weekend.